I will introduce myself. I am Anil Kulkarni. I am a native of Belgaum district, which is in northern Karnataka in India, and I am a lover of education. I love to learn and teach, that is, share what I know, and I don't work. I enjoy my time talking to students, sharing what I know, and they also learn a lot and get very good grades. So I have been quite successful in this. I have trained thousands of students. And when I started teaching students, I understood that students have the basic problem of memorizing what they study. Whenever they are very close to the exams, they try mugging up the answers. Isn't it? You all do that? Huh? So when you try to mug up, what will happen if you try to mug up? You will soon forget it, isn't it? And when the answers are very short, you can understand and remember. But if the answers are a bit longer, then you have difficulty in understanding or remembering the entire answer sentence by sentence, though not word by word. Alright, so today I started practicing different types of techniques, and I started teaching them for the last more than 20 years. And once I did an experiment around 19 years ago, then again many experiments like that. Then around 3 years ago I did an experiment on 200 students in a school for 10 standard students. Then again recently in a school over 100 students. So for different age groups and for different standards, both boys and girls. And I found that many students are very much liking this, and they are able to remember the whole lesson after I taught them without by hearting. They were able to tell the whole lesson by memory without trying to muck up. Alright, now I will show you this very brief technique. What I will do now is, I will read some sentences, I will explain those sentences. Alright, and then I will tell you how we can remember that sentence. This is a very simple technique. Alright, when I teach this, you will understand how you all are going to remember. Okay, yes. So this lesson is about fire extinguishers. I will read the first sentence. Do you all know what is a fire extinguisher?
Material that puts off the fire.
Yes. Have you seen a fire extinguisher?
Yes.
Extinguish means douse the fire or put out the fire, right? There are some red cylinders kept in different places. Even in cars, some people keep them in houses, isn't it? They are all fire extinguishers. You can use different things to douse a fire, right? You can use, what all you can use to douse fire, do you know?
Yes, sir.
Water.
You can use water, very good, that is correct. Then what else you can use?
Sand.
Sand, very fine. But if there is a big building on fire, can you bring sand and douse that fire over the whole building? You can't, isn't it? So what we understand is, for different types of fires, what we should do?
Different types of
We should use different types of fire extinguishers. Alright, now I will start this lesson. The first sentence I will read. The fire extinguisher mostly used is water. Most commonly, what is the fire extinguisher used everywhere in the world? If there is a large fire, water. How do they use it? You know that? The big fire, extinguisher vehicles come, isn't it? From the fire brigade, they call it. They use big pipes and they spray the water, isn't it? So, in this sentence, what is the main word? The fire extinguisher mostly used is water. What is the main word in this sentence?
fire extinguisher.
Yes. Here, what is the fire extinguisher?
Water.
So, I will write that word water in the first sentence. What is water? What is water used as here?
Fire extinguisher.
How it is used?
Spraying.
No, most commonly. Correct? Now you can, looking at this word water, can you tell the sentence?
Fire. Water is.
Yeah, let her tell. Try.
Fire is
The most common fire extinguisher is water.
Perfect. Just by looking at this word, you are able to remember that sentence. Very fine. Now, second. The problem is it is useful when substances such as wood, cloth, paper, etc. are burning. It is useful. What is useful?
Water.
Water. That it is referring to the previous sentence, water. Correct? So now water is useful to douse what type of fires?
Fire set by wood, cloth.
What else?
Water.
Oh no. What type of fires it is useful to douse?
Wood.
Wood.
Cloth.
Huh?
uh,
What else?
Paper.
It could be?
Paper.
Yes, can you tell that? What all it can douse?
Paper.
Used for? Try.
Plant.
Plants. What are the things that burn easily?
Paper.
Paper,
Wood.
wood,
Cloth.
cloths. So for this purpose what we can use?
Water.
Water, right?
Yes.
Very good. Now what I do is problem. I write a word problem. What is that problem? Water can be used. Here there is a problem. What is the problem? Using of the water is the problem. Correct? When water can be used?
Only when fires are set upon fire, wood, paper and cloth.
Yeah. So only. So if you look at the word only, isn't it? So you remember the problem is water can only be used for certain substances like wood, etc. Isn't it? Such as what? Wood, isn't it? Now, then where water cannot be used, then if I say water can be used only for such purpose, the question comes, then what to do when something else is burning? Understand that? Now let us look at the next question. If you use water when there are electrical appliances, water may cause shock to those extinguishing the fire.
Yes.
Now the problem is water cannot be used in all situations. Now where it cannot be used?
But electric.
Well,
There is a short circuit and there is a fire from.
So when we are having electrical equipments. So the third point is electrical equipments, right? Equipments, isn't it?
Yes.
So if there is an electrical equipment, what will happen if you use fire?
Shock.
Short circuit. So the sentence, if we use water when the electrical appliances are on fire, what will it happen? What will it do? Water may cause shock. To whom?
To the person extinguishing the fire.
Right? Now you will make the whole sentence. Yes? Try to make the sentence about that point. You remember now, understood that? What is the point with the electrical equipments and water? Wait. Let him try.
Water cannot be used on that.
Why?
It can
Because
shock circuit.
it causes.
Shock circuit.
Yes. Can you tell the sentence, Rutin?
Water cannot be used on electrical equipment because it can cause shock.
Remember? Can you tell that?
Electrical equipment is
Yeah. If water is used for the fire on
electrical
equipment,
equipment.
what will happen? Shock. Correct. Getting that. Very good. So now let us go to the fourth sentence. When combustible liquids such as oil, petrol, diesel, etc. are on fire, we cannot use water here also. When else? In which other occasion we cannot use water?
And there's a fire on oil, petrol, and kerosene.
Kerosene.
What are the possible cases?
It cannot be used
Huh.
on petrol, kerosene,
diesel, etc. So what are they? Liquid oils, right? So they are liquid combustible materials, right? So they are oils, etc. Oil, petrol, etc. Okay. So who will make the sentence about the whole thing? Yes.
Water cannot be used even on fires set by oil, petrol, diesel, etc.
Now the question comes, why? Can you imagine why we can't use?
Because water and oil cannot be mixed, and oil floats on water, so the fire will be still on oil.
Excellent. That's a very good answer. Let us look at that. We know that oil is lighter than water, so floats on water. Right? So what is the point about this sentence? Lighter. So what is lighter?
Oil.
Oil.
What happens because it is lighter?
It floats
on the water.
So why can't we use water to douse fire on oils?
Because oil is float on it, and the fire will still remain.
Fire will still burn, isn't it?
Yes.
Understand that? Very good. Now, thus, oil is on top and still continues to burn. Okay? So, sixth sentence, on top. Right? So, can you explain this sentence now again? Okay, let us go to this sentence. Now, what happens? What is on top?
Oil is on top and still fire.
And what happens to the water?
The water
Water sinks, goes down. The water goes down, oil comes to the top, right? So, what is burning actually? Fire. The oil is burning. Oil is on fire. So, water should cover the oil, right? Only then you can stop it burning. If you put a blanket over a burning person, okay, oxygen supply will be cut off and the burning will stop. So, if there is nothing covering it, when it is above, it keeps burning. Understand that?
Yes.
Good. So, you understood this.
Yes.
Next, another type of extinguisher. Now, we have seen two cases where oil cannot be used. Then what will be used in that case?
Sand.
and or CO2.
Sand, suppose inside an equipment there is a fire. Sand cannot go inside. If you put the sand inside, then it is difficult to take it out. Isn't it? Then what else they will use?
Carbon
Possible?
dioxide.
You remember that? Carbon dioxide. Very good. So another type of extinguisher, carbon dioxide gas, right, is used to put out fires in case of electrical equipments. Right? So what is the next point? What is carbon dioxide? What is carbon dioxide, Nitin? Nitin?
It's a gas which puts out fire.
Fire. It is another type of fire extinguisher. What it does?
Short fire.
In case of fire in electrical equipments easily. So what happens if we use that? Okay, now 8th point. In this case, it is most suitable. What is most suitable here?
CO2.
CO2. Why? Because it is heavier than O2, oxygen. Correct? Now I write heavier. What is heavier? CO2. Heavier than what?
O2. Oxygen.
Oxygen. As a result, what happens?
So the oxygen is gone away and carbon dioxide.
The oxygen
So
goes down.
the oxygen is light. There is a fire. Okay. Because it is hot, oxygen goes up. Even when it is hot, carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. So carbon dioxide comes down, oxygen goes up. So if it comes down, what will it do? It will cover the fire. It will make a blanket around the fire. As a result, what will happen?
The fire will cut off.
Cut off, right? So in this case, it is most suitable because it is heavier than O2 and it engulfs the fire, it covers the fire. And what it does? Okay, makes O2 oxygen unavailable to the fire to continue to burn. Right? So, looking at this word heavier, can you try to make the sentence?
The CO2 is heavier than oxygen, so it puts off fire.
How?
It covers the
It sinks down and covers the
Fire.
whole fire. Correct?
So that the oxygen supply is cut off.
Cut off. Very good. Now, let us look at the ninth sentence. As CO2 is not wet, understand that?
Yes.
It does not harm the electrical devices or those who are putting out the fire. Okay? So what we read here? Not wet. What is not wet?
CO2.
CO2.
As a result, what will happen?
So we will not get the person extinguishing the fire will not get hit by shock.
What is another advantage? Anything possible? Yeah.
It will not harm the electrical appliance.
It will not harm the electrical appliance also. Right? There are two advantages. Very good. Alright. So let us look at the last sentence. Now, CO2 gas, then how do you bring it? If you bring water, you can bring in a tank. Then where do you get the CO2 from? No, suppose you have CO2. How do you use it there? How do you store it? Do you know how they store it? You know LPG gas cylinder?
Yes.
What is that?
Liquefied petrol.
Gas.
Yes.
Gas is stored, compressed and stored in that, right? Slowly the gas comes out and the gas burner will burn it. It can be used for 1 month to cook, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
So the same way, carbon dioxide is compressed and put in a cylinder and it slowly comes out, becomes a big, gas. When it is compressed, it is very small. When it comes out, it occupies a large space, and when it covers the fire, fire is extinguished. So, cylinders. So, what is in cylinder?
Gas.
What
Carbon
gas?
dioxide.
So, what is done with the carbon
The
dioxide?
carbon dioxide is compressed inside the cylinder.
Compressed and stored inside the cylinder. Okay, now what we will do is, we will quickly try to revise the whole thing. So, what is this lesson about?
Fire extinguisher.
So, water. We see the word water here. What is this water about? Wait. Yeah, let me see that.
Water is the only.
Huh.
Water is the most popular fire extinguisher.
Perfect. You got the first sentence looking at the one word, right? So, what is the second sentence? Only one problem. What is the problem with that water? You tell Priti?
It damages the electrical equipment and causes the.
So, it cannot be used. It can be used only when the problem with the water is it can be used only in which cases?
When it is on when the fire is on wood, paper or cloth.
Correct.
Yes.
So, how the water is important? Because it is the most common substance used for
Fire extinguisher.
extinguishing fire. That is the first sentence. What is the connection? There is a problem with that. Question mark. So what I will do is, I will remove this entire word. What is that? There is a problem. I will put only question mark. So what is the problem? What is the question mark there?
Problem.
What is that problem? It can be
Can be only
used
used
Or
on
used for fires on wood, cloth and paper.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Very good. Now, then if it cannot be used, here, then where it can be used? Can it be where it cannot be used?
Electrical
sources.
Right?
Yes.
So what I will do is now, I will remove this, only keep electrical. Now I will tell the whole sentence.
Water cannot be used on electrical equipments as the person.
Right. Yeah. Why? He has told half. What happens?
As the person gets shocks.
Yes. The person who is trying to extinguish the fire will get shocked. Alright. Then. Now. Where else plus, right? Electrical plus. Now where else oil cannot be used?
Water.
So water cannot be used for extinguishing,
Oil, petrols,
diesel.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So what I will do is, I will remove this entire thing and I will say electrical plus. So something else also cannot be doused. I will remove that. Okay. Now what is in addition to electrical equipments? Okay. I will write very short. Okay. Now what in addition to electrical it cannot douse?
Other petroleum products like oil and petrol,
Diesel,
and
it
kerosene.
cannot extinguish. Right? Very good. Now why it cannot extinguish them?
Because
Water
oil,
is-
water and all are lighter in weight, so
Yeah.
water is ink.
Water will sink.
Sink.
As a result, what will happen?
Then the oil will float and the
Oil will
fire will
continue to burn. Right? Remember that?
Yes.
Very good. So, what I will make it simply light. Okay. Now, if water is light, what will happen? What will be on the top?
oil.
Oil.
I will remove one more word. You are understanding that?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if it is on the fire, on the top, it continues to burn. Right? Now, what is? Now, these two are the cases where electrical equipments and oil fire or water cannot be used. Water can only be used for wood, etc. So, these two cases, okay, why electrical it cannot use, you understood. Okay, what is in addition to electricity? Oil. And why light cannot be used? It is lighter. Because of lighter, it is on the floating on the top. Now, what else can be used to douse if water cannot be used?
Carbon dioxide.
Why?
Because
Yeah.
Because it is heavier than oxygen.
And what happens when it is heavier than oxygen, Dhritin?
It goes down and covers the flame and extinguishes it.
Excellent. Everybody understood this?
yes.
So you can tell the whole sentence? Yes? Akash? What will happen? What will the carbon dioxide do?
It will come down in the
Huh. So,
cover.
another type of, what is carbon dioxide? It is another type of carbon dioxide, the fire extinguisher used to
cover.
douse the fire. Right?
Yes.
Now, why it can be used to douse the fire?
Because it is heavier than the oxygen.
Huh. And
It goes
down
down
and
and covers
covers the
fire.
fire.
As a result, what will happen?
The
Cuts
fire
off the, yes, cuts off the oxygen supply. Right? Now,
the carbon dioxide is
it is not wet. What is not wet?
Carbon dioxide.
Now I will remove that and keep only wet. What is wet?
water.
Water. What is not wet? Carbon dioxide. Alright. Now, as a result, what will happen?
The person extinguishing will not get shocked.
The
Huh.
person extinguishing the fire will not get shocked
Shock.
because it is not
Wet.
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 And
Excellent.
it will not even
And,
have
and-
electrical appliance.
Yes. And yes. Now, cylinder. What we do with the cylinder here?
We compress the carbon dioxide and put it into a cylinder when we want to extinguish it.
Fire.
Fire.
Right? Now, quickly, just by reading this, okay, you can tell all that. Now, what I will do is, I am going to erase all this. Right? Now, you will start telling me the sentence one by one. Who will tell the first sentence? Nishi. Yes.
The most popular is, fire extinguisher is water.
Very good. What is the second part? What was the point there? Question mark. So what is that connection? Can you tell me?
Water cannot be used for all problems.
It can be used only.
At wood, paper and cloth.
That is the second sentence. Very nice. Now, what is the third sentence? If it cannot be used for that, then where it cannot be used? If it can be only used for wood and all that, where it cannot be used?
Cannot be used on
Electrical
electricals.
equipments.
Because when the
Water
person
is
extinguishing the fire,
It
he
will
will get
The
shocked.
shock. Right? The thing. Where else it cannot be used? What is the next sentence?
It cannot be used on oils and other petroleum products.
Correct? Now, so in these two cases, oil or water cannot be used. Then what else can be used?
Even
seawater.
another point.
And why? And why it cannot be used?
Because oil is
oil and petroleum are lighter than water, so
It
they
is
float
not
on
sinks.
and water sinks, so the fire still keeps on burning.
Very good. I forgot that. You remembered. Very good. Excellent. Now, as a result, oil will not be on top because the water sinks down. So it keeps burning, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And what? Then if that is okay, then what is the connection to the next sentence?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Why we remember that? Because if water cannot be used, what we should use?
Carbon dioxide.
So, what is a carbon dioxide?
It
is
is
another type of
extinguisher.
Extinguishing the fire.
To available to which is not wet. Right. And in this case, what is it suitable? How it is the next? What is the next sentence connected with carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide is
Is
heavier
heavier
than
than
oxygen.
Yes, Nishi.
And it covers the
It comes.
fire and
Douses
cut
the
off
does the fire.
oxygen supply, isn't
So
it?
the fire is put off.
Fire is put out. Now, what is another point?
No.
It is
Not
Not
wet.
wet.
not wet. Very good. So as a result, what happens?
He
The
does
equipments
not
are not
spraying
harmed.
will not get shocked and
Doesn't harm
equipments
the-
are not harmed.
Correct?
Yes.
Very good. And what is the last sentence?
All the carbon dioxide is compressed and put into a cylinder so that can be used anytime, anywhere.
Yes. Now, did you by heart this?
No.
No, right? You understood. Now you can go home after 1 hour, take a piece of paper and write the entire thing. You can remember all the sentences because you have understood the connection. I will tell you what is the key to this. Your brain needs connections between one thing and another thing. So to remember anything, you take one important word from each sentence, connect it with other part of the sentence by asking questions, what, why, how, which. You connect it with other words. Then you get this word of the second sentence. After you get that and connect it to the other part of the sentence, connect the first sentence with the second sentence. How the connection is there between first and second, then you understand. Then you hold one end of a chain and pull it, the entire chain will come to your hand, right? So now remember the word fire extinguisher, water will come to your mind, water only used here, then next, all the steps will come to your mind, right? You can easily remember, isn't it? So this is the technique. You use a word, you ask questions, relate, link it to the other words, connect that sentence to the next sentence, connect that word, connect that important word to the next sentence. How? By linking it to the next word and go on. So first you have to take a small rough piece of paper and write the keywords, connect them. Then without looking, if you once say that, you will remember the whole thing. It is not mugging up.
Yes.
What will happen? Because you are asking questions, connection is formed in the brain. This will remain in your memory for quite long time. Alright? So, you all think it is easy technique?
Yes.
Yes. When I taught this, a student stood up and told, sir, I can now 2 hours I taught a lesson. Then she is 5-page lesson. She recounted the whole 5-page lesson. So it is quite possible because you understand the links. You hold one end of a chain and pull. Right? Thank you very much. This version that I have released for students, yeah, it is easy for them to themselves study. And maybe parents, teachers, or tutors can help them to use this method and master this method so that they can themselves remember. Now the next step is I am working on a next step where it will be difficult for the students to forget, and actually I aspire to help the teachers to teach in a particular method so that it becomes difficult for the students to forget. So that's what I am working on, and I have a big hope on that. So hope you will all like this. I would like you to share it maximum with all the students so that everybody can benefit. Okay, thank you, and also try to subscribe the channel. Thank you.